If you just purchased RanchHand and want to know how to get started, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Mark with RanchHand, and in this video I'll show you how to download and license your software as well as set up your first data set. So let's get started. After purchasing RanchHand, you should have received an email similar to this one, thanking you for the purchase, and down a little bit lower you can see invoice information. And in there is a link to download some software as well as some activation codes, and we're going to get to those later. But the first thing we're going to do is click on this link. And that should download the software in your browser. You can see it's still downloading. And once it's done downloading, we can open and run it. And that's just a zip file, and it's going to bring up an executable that will install the program. So once you see this executable, and then we're just going to right click on that and click open. Now, word of warning here, it may take quite a while before you actually see anything happen. Eventually Windows is going to ask you if it's okay to go ahead and run this installer. So please say yes for that and be patient. It'll eventually get going. Okay, now the installation program has started. It starts out with the end user license agreement. So you can click to accept that and hit all the defaults and just move on through until you see this install, and we'll do that. When you see the finish, it's done. So click the finish. It should have put a shortcut on your desktop, or we could have gone down to the start menu, but let's double click this shortcut. We're going to see that it's currently unlicensed, which makes sense because we haven't licensed it yet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate that license, which is this first button here. So go ahead and click Activate License. We're going to start a new activation, the first button here. Start a new activation. Now we need to go back to that email, and we're going to copy both the license ID and the activation password one at a time here. I'm just going to do a copy and paste. And go back and put in the license ID, go back to the email, get the activation password, copy that, go back, put it in the password field, and then we can hit next. And it's going to ask us for a ranch name. You could leave that blank. You can always put it in later or put it in right now. C4 Ranch. This is where you installed it just for notes. It's not really needed. I'm just going to put home because I'm in my home office, and I'm just going to go next. Accept all the next. We got through that activation, but since this is the very first time, we do not have a data set. A data set is where all of the animal data is stored, and you don't have one, so you might as well just create one. So I'm going to say create. And we've got two options: create a data set, which is what we want to do. But notice there's also a create a sample data set. And all that is a data set that's pre-populated with some animals. It's very nice when you're playing around with the new screens to see data there and to kind of help you understand the different reports and screens. But we're going to go ahead and make our first data set by clicking the first button. It's going to default to our ranch name. And we can put in a description. I'm just going to leave that blank for now. Hit next. And then it's got a bunch of specifies folder paths, but unless you're doing something really special IT-wise, I would just accept all the defaults. Hit next, next. It's going to preload some data, maybe some health treatments, different types of pregnancy tests. You can always change these or add to it. I would accept these as a good start. It's a good information to have in there at the start. So go ahead and hit next, next again. And it's just telling us that it wants to update the database with some additional information. If that ever happens, just click yes, update it. It's got some more breed information, EPDs. We're going to say run the update. And that's been updated. We have our first data set. Now you are ready to start using RanchHand. I would suggest viewing some of our Getting Started videos to help learn the basics. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps.